The members of the public wishing to speak may sign up on the council committee sign-up sheet posted outside the room where the committee is scheduled to meet. Public comment sign up for council committee meetings will end immediately before the meeting begins. Public comment is limited to 8 minutes total at council committee meetings, and each speaker is allowed up to 2 minutes to speak. All public comment speakers must present proof of Tennessee residency. Requests for interpretation services and/or accessibility accommodations should be directed to the council office at 615-862-6780. I don't have anybody signed up to speak at public comment, but I see a bunch of people out there, so just want to make sure if anybody wants to speak, just raise your hand. All right. Seeing none, we will move on to the agenda. I have items 10 and 12 not on consent. Are there any other items that folks would like to pull from consent? Item 10, for those who are not using this agenda, are BL 2025-956, and item 12 is BL 2025-1063. Is there anything else anybody wants to pull from consent? All right, seeing none, we'll read the agenda. Item number 1, RS 2025-1579, a resolution approving an agreement between CXX Transportation, Inc., a Virginia corporation with its principal place of business in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure to construct bridge repairs and painting at Hart Lane, Walton Lane, and Division Street. Sponsors Benedict, Coop and Toombs, Evan Siegel, and Hill. Item number 2, RS 2025-1580, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for the resurfacing and safety of SR 155 and SR 6 to near I-24 and the maintenance of bicycle lanes from I-65. Sponsors Wells, Johnston, Toombs, Evan Siegel, and Hill. Item number 3, RS 2025-1581, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Nashville Department of Transportation for resurfacing and safety on State Road 12 from State Road 6 to near State Road 112. Sponsors Coop and Toombs, Taylor, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item number 4, RS 2025-1582, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Waste Services, to enter into 3 facility encroachment agreements with CXX Transportation, Inc. to construct, use, and maintain fiber optics, wire lines, natural gas, and water main in the railroad right-of-way at 61 Edenwold Road in Davidson County. Sponsors Hancock, Toombs, Horton, Evan Siegel, and Webb. Item number 5, RS 2025-1583, a resolution approving a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and Elmington Capital Group to provide improved public sanitary sewer services through the design and construction of sanitary sewer service improvements. Sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item number 6, RS 2025-1584, a resolution approving a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and the Nashville Leased Housing Associates 5 LLP, a Minnesota limited partnership to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the design and construction of sanitary sewer service improvements. Item number 7, RS 2025-1585, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept a new public fire hydrant assembly for property located at 1209 Jackson Street, also known as JSMBC Fire Damage Renovation. Sponsors Taylor, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item number 8, RS 2025-1586, a resolution to amend ordinance number BL 2025-975 to authorize the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to add phasing, to correct the project number, and to modify the abandonment and acceptance of public water main, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for 2 properties located at 1 Titans Way and 100 Woodland Street, also known as South 2nd Street Development Phase 1. Sponsors Coop and Horton and Evan Siegel. Item number 9, RS 2025-1587, a resolution to amend resolution number 2024-852 to authorize the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to modify the acceptance of public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer main holds for 3 properties located at 912 2nd Avenue North and 916 and 920 3rd Avenue North, also known as Stockyards, 900 Block Revision 1. Sponsors Coop and Horton and Evan Siegel. Item number 11, BL 2025-1055, an ordinance authorizing Nashville Downtown Partnership to construct, install, and maintain an underground encroachment on Korean Veterans Boulevard at 1st Avenue North. Sponsors Coop and Horton and Evan Siegel. Item number 13, BL 2025-1075, an ordinance approving Amendment 1 to the contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County through the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure and LTR Intermediate Holdings, Inc., DBA Liberty Tire Recycling for the collection and disposal of scrap tires. Sponsors Toombs, Evan Siegel, Johnston Hill, Allen, and Benton. Item 14, BL 2025-1076, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public utility easement rights for property located at 912 Matthews Avenue. Sponsors Benedict Horton and Evan Siegel. Item 15, BL 2025-1077, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer manholes and easements for property located at Nesbitt Lane, unnumbered, also known as 253 Nesbitt Phase 2. Sponsors Gamble, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item 16, BL 2025-1078, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer manhole and easements for property locating at Nesbitt Lane, unnumbered, also known as 253 Nesbitt Phase 3. Sponsors Gamble, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item 17, BL 2025-1079, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer manholes and easements for property located at Nesbitt Lane, unnumbered, also known as 253 Nesbitt Phase 4. Sponsors Gamble, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item number 18, BL 2025-1080, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer manholes and easements for 4 properties located at 611 and 631 Old Lebanon Dirt Road and 1741 and 1748 Ridgemere Court, also known as Gujarat Cultural Association. Sponsors Evans, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item number 19, BL 2025-1081, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public sanitary sewer manhole and easements for property located at Split Log Road, unnumbered, in Williamson County, also known as Rosebrook South Section 1. Sponsors Horton and Evan Siegel. Item number 20, BL 2025-1082, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water main and easements and to accept new public water main, fire hydrant assembly, and easements for 2 properties located at 12610 Old Hickory Boulevard and Old Hickory Boulevard, unnumbered, also known as 12610 Business Park. Sponsor Stiles, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item 21, BL 2025-1083, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer manhole and easements and to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes and easements for 2 properties located at 847 and 865 West Trinity Lane. Sponsors Toombs, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item number 22, BL 2025-1084, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new sanitary sewer manhole and easements for property located at 1718 Jefferson Street, also known as 1712 Jefferson Street Development. Sponsors Taylor, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Item 23, BL 2025-1085, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 3039 and 3041 Hillside Road, also known as Grace Park. Sponsors Parker, Horton, and Evan Siegel. And item number 24, BL 2025-1086, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 3941 and 3957 Dodson Chapel Road, also known as Dodson Chapel Townhouses. Sponsors Huffman, Horton, and Evan Siegel. Does anything else need to come off the consent agenda? Council Member Horton?
Thank you, Chair. Was item 12, the NDOT bill, was that on consent?
It was not on consent.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion? All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? That is 9 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting. All right, item number 10, BL 2025-956, an ordinance to amend Chapter 12.40 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws regarding restrictions for street and alley parking. Can I get a motion? All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I see Council Member Ellis, the sponsor.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to move the substitute.
All right, can I get a motion on the substitute? Can I get a second? The substitute has been moved and seconded. Do you want to explain the substitute?
Actually, I wanted NDOT. Mr. Purvis.
All right. Mr. Purvis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Matt Purvis, currently acting as the council liaison for the Nashville Department of Transportation. So we had, well, at this moment, this bill was originally referred to the Traffic and Parking Commission, who met this afternoon. As it was going to Traffic and Parking Commission, NDOT worked with the council member and the administration to kind of figure out a substitute that served multiple needs that we had, in addition to kind of melding what Councilman Ellis was originally going for. It's my knowledge that the Traffic and Parking Commission deferred their referral on this bill until their November meeting, which means they wouldn't be able to give a recommendation until at least November 10th on both the bill itself and the substitute. But was there a question also?
You answered my question. Councilmember Allen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think since the recommendation from the Traffic and Parking Commission would be helpful, I would, if the sponsor is supportive, I would move for a 2-meeting deferral.
Is there been moved and seconded? I
And
see.
welcome comment from the sponsor on that, but it just seems more appropriate to wait till we can get their recommendation.
Okay, I saw Councilmember Horton, hold on. Can everybody raise your hands again? I saw Councilmember Horton, Councilmember Cash, Councilmember Ewing, did you? Okay, all right. I think Councilmember Allen had asked for Councilmember Ellis's response to her motion. So I will go first to Councilmember Ellis and then Horton and then Cash.
Excuse me, yes, I'm happy to defer it 1 meeting until
Or I
2
think
meetings.
the motion was 2 meetings, which would get us to after the next traffic and parking. They only meet once a month.
Yes.
Okay.
So defer it 2 meetings. Make a motion.
Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. The sponsors in support. Does anybody?
But if anyone had any, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. If anyone had any questions about the context of the bill or either the substitute, I'm happy to answer that before it gets deferred.
Yeah, I think conversation would be helpful, just so that whatever questions are out there. And so I'm going to go first to Councilmember Horton. There you are, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I read through the legislation, very grateful for the sponsor for bringing it. This is something that we have some issues with in our district, especially in the Charlotte Park neighborhood. I was wondering, having read it, if the sponsor might be able to give a 10,000-foot overview of what exactly it does and doesn't do before we defer it.
Yeah, Councilmember Ellis, would you like to respond to that?
For the sake of time, I would ask you, is there any specific question that you had, given that you read it thoroughly?
Nope, none in particular. We're just hoping for a summary.
Sure, there's a couple of different points. I'd say the main thing is making sure that, there is enough clearance on the streets for vehicles to pass when it comes to the actual box trucks, making sure that those are not blocking traffic and, hindering people's sight line. We remove the gross weight of the vehicle, since NDOT doesn't have the ability to actually weigh how much it adds. We took out the school buses because some folks, of course, park their school buses on the street. Can't think of any other pertinent things the enforceability, yeah. So we initially had it just for MNPD, but of course we want NDOT compliance officers to be able to market there as well. And it does include box trucks, trailers, and also semi-trailers. Or I'm sorry, detached trailers. So if someone has like landscaping trailer, that would be, this law would be applied as well.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Ellis. Councilmember Horton, did you have anything further? Councilmember Cash, you're recognized.
Thanks. That was pretty much my question. as well. And I appreciate that overview. And I think it's good not only for us to understand, but to have it in the public record. I appreciate Councilmember Horton's question and Councilmember Ellis's summary of the changes. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody else have anything to ask or add at this time? Councilmember Coupin?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you. I echo the thanks for the sponsor bringing this, and I know she's been working hard on it. My question would be, so if I am a landscaper in town and I live on a street that doesn't have a driveway or off-site parking, and I've parked my landscaping trailer on there to no issue with the neighborhood, would this bill preclude the ability to do that, and I'd have to either move or get rid of my landscaping equipment, or how would that work?
I believe that the substitute was NDOT, so if it's okay, Councilmember Ellis, I'll go back to them.
Chris Mitchell, NDOT Council Liaison. Councilman, to answer your question, it would exempt standard pickup size trucks with the landscaping trailer.
Without the trailer or with the trailer?
Without the trailer.
So if there was a,
I'm sorry, with the trailer. It would exempt them with the trailer, standard pickup size.
so standard pickup size truck with a trailer would be exempted?
Yes.
Thanks.
Anything further, Councilmember Coupin? Okay, I think just as a follow-up to that, sometimes they have like a standard pickup truck, but a lot of times they have like a dually or a flatbed truck. Would that be exempt as well?
It will be exempted for the purposes of the description of a pickup truck, but as far as the weight purposes, we removed that language.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to council for just a second. Would you mind?
I was looking at the substitute, and I don't think that trucks with landscaping equipment attached to it, a trailer that has landscaping equipment, would be exempt. I think it is prohibited from parking on the public right-of-way.
Thank you, Council Darby, Councilmember Ellis, I see you.
Yep, so I just wanted to clarify. So an actual work truck would be exempt, but if someone parks their landscaping work trailer on the street and it's not attached to their working truck, and it also obstructs the line of sight into the 12 inches that's needed by the fire department, then yes, they would be violated.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember. I just have one.
Oh, sorry. And then to your question about the doodlies or the 25 diesel vehicles, those would not be included in this because we took out the weight size of the truck.
Okay, thank you. I think, so just to clarify for everybody, because there's a motion for a 2-meeting deferral, we're not, having conferred with special counsel, we're not going to vote on the substitute today because it would have to get refiled in 2 meetings anyway. But I did have one more question that I was going to ask on it, just so that when that time comes, it's just already out there. Which is, I was a little confused by the language that says that parking is, and I may be getting it backwards because I don't have my laptop in front of me, so I can't read it, but that parking is prohibited anywhere that it is not permitted. And I was hoping that NDOT could explain what is meant by that.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, as far as that goes, it just means for those use cases, for those specific vehicles, it is prohibited unless they're permitted through a program like our food truck vending or those sort of programs that are specifically permitting those sort of vehicles.
Okay, I would just note that, I mean, I'm a lawyer and I had to read it a bunch of times and I didn't get that. So I would appreciate if you could maybe confer with Metro Legal about that.
It's my understanding.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, it's my understanding that from the TPC conversation today, I think that the commission itself is going to look for some edits. I think there's still work to be done here with our substitute.
Okay, great. That's super helpful. And Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I want to go back the last time this was before us. I appreciate that the sponsor is looking for the recommendation from TMP. I think what comes back to mind for me is that this sounds like it's something that is needed in maybe certain areas of the city, but not necessarily in others. I would say in, there's places and districts, I mean, there's still a lot to be sussed out here as we're having this discussion, but I just would want TMP if they could, so I guess NDOT when you're in front of them, or if the sponsor's in front of them, kind of, think about, areas of the city that this is more important than others, perhaps. Just that's the question that comes to mind for me. And then from a procedural point of order perspective, Chair, I think the substitute was moved. So I think you've got that coming, but I just wanted to
Well,
make sure.
so after conferring with Special Counsel Darby, she said we should vote on the motion since that's to defer since that's a prevailing motion.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
All right. Any further questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of the motion to defer 2 meetings, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Okay, that is 9 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting to defer 2 meetings. All right, agenda item 12, BL 2025-1063, an ordinance amending certain sections and subsections of Chapter 262, Chapter 1256, and Title 13 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to modify fees charged by the National Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure to make various other changes. Sponsors Toombs and Evan Siegel. Can I get a motion? Second. All right, it's been moved and seconded. We have a couple amendments as well. I know Councilmember Toombs has an amendment, and Councilmember Hill has an amendment. Councilmember Toombs, yours is listed first. Would you like to talk about, I know you're not on this committee, but if somebody could, all right, it's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Toombs, would you like to talk about your amendment?
If I could defer to Director Darby, I believe it's a housekeeping amendment, but I could be mistaken.
The amendment changes the event and film permit for fees for banners to include a $12 per pole addition to the fee.
Okay. Any discussion on that amendment? Councilmember Allen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to confirm, that's something that was recommended by Rep. Tellis and it just happened to be left out. Is that consistent with the study?
I see nodding from Mr. Purvis and nodding yes from Special Counsel Darby as well. All right. All in favor of Councilmember Toombs' amendment, say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? It's 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Councilmember Hill, you also have an amendment. Would you like to move that?
Yes, I'd like to ask for a 1-meeting deferral. I think we're getting really close on a lot of things, and I think we've really kind of pulled this together. And I've been talking to several different sides, and I think we're getting really close. And I just need a 1-meeting deferral so we can hone this all in and settle this up.
Okay, I think that's a motion for a 1-meeting deferral. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded. I think it'd be helpful if we're going to defer it or to have discussion on this whole, because I know there are a lot of questions. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not going to tightly enforce what we're talking about, what we're not right now, because I know everybody has a lot of questions. I saw Councilmember Allen. I think you raised your hand. Councilmember Benedict. Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to ask about or talk about on the motion to amend or on the bill itself? Okay, Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of questions that I would like to use the time that we defer to get answered. So that's related to the deferral. And those are, number one, there was a question about sidewalk cafes. The fee is given as $250 for every year. And then in the following section, there's a reference to dollars per square foot. That seems to conflict with the $250 flat fee. So if that could be clarified, that seems very important. And if the downtown restaurants could be brought into that discussion, that seems like that would be helpful. That was one question. I'm not sure there's an immediate answer to that.
I do see that the director is back there, and I would add just to your question, not just the downtown ones, but many of the midtown ones, but many of the ones that they're
All restaurants.
Yeah, Councilmember Cap has a ton, I think, in his as well. Director, you're recognized.
Thank you very much. There is a application fee and a renewal fee for every year. That's going to be what is recommended to go to $250. And then there would be additional charge for the use of the space. And so that right now is set at square footage, but in conversations with both Councilmember Parker, who's actually the original author of it, and also as we're moving forward with it, turns out to be a very big number. So we are actually going to be working and pulling together a task team on what is the best language for the second part. I don't have that today because we're just now putting this team together so that we can have the conversation, and then we'll be bringing that back before you. So that still has to be massaged, and Councilmember Parker is in agreement with that. We met with him a couple weeks ago to make sure he was on board, and then I'm working with many different folks in the downtown as well as outside areas. We'll be bringing in the hospitality community, also all of the different business associations, and have a full task force team on what's the best way to actually do that. Have gotten many different suggestions. We just got to land on one, and then we'll bring that back before y'all.
And I did have one other question.
Yep.
So that some people expressed concern that this was just too much right away, and it does phase it in over 3 years based on what the Raftellus said it's costing us to do those. So I just wanted to clarify that. My question was then it goes to an automatic 3% or greater than the CPU. If we can find out why it's consistent with having to connect the cost to what it actually cost us to take the greater of those two. To me, that seems like we're jumping the gun on that one. I think those were my two main questions. And then can we, if the CPU gets us off, can we have a true up that's built into it automatically? That's not really spelled out there. Seems like we could get ahead.
Okay.
That's all.
I think the director looked like she wanted to speak, but if she doesn't, Matt. She wants Matt to speak.
Sorry, it's round robin back here. So as far as the increases, the reason why we originally planned for the increases after the 3-year ramp up to what Raftellus recommended is really, it's got the majority of the cost of what it cost us to implement these permits is salary, is pay. So it's assuming pay plan increases as well would be consistent with what it costs us to do. That's why the increase has to be. That's why we wanted to be something, because we have to keep up with the pay plan. Otherwise, after 4 years, we'd start to be underwater again, because we'd be, again, subsidizing the industry to pay for our folks to police their folks to do the right thing for our constituents.
Okay, Councilmember Benedict?
Thank you, Chair. So when this came before us in January, it really has come back much improved. And so I appreciate the work. I know the administration has worked on it. I know Councilmember Parker has worked on it. I've met with Mr. Purvis and Director Alarcon about it. And so this is something I think we're reaching I think actually we've reached a really good place with it where it is. I guess I'm curious, Chair, if the NDOT director could share with us the improvements that have been made that she sees that are most beneficial. And it's philosophically relative to the bill itself. The public is always asking us to improve infrastructure and pay for improved infrastructure. And the way that we can do that as a city is leverage taxes to pay for things. When we look at fees and ways that we can increase revenue in order to pay for the resources that help us achieve the goals that our taxpayers want us to achieve without putting that tax burden on their back, that's what this bill does. So from a larger perspective, philosophical perspective, I'm really supportive of the bill because that's what this does. I guess my question for the director, Chair, would be to talk through what those changes are and how they're going to be better for us, for the department, for all the stakeholders engaged, as well as for the taxpayer who's looking for this infrastructure to be completed that we can't get done today.
Director?
Thank you very much. So with this fee increase, we had actually included in our budget, beginning of July 1 of this year, for increased number of individuals to employ. It would be a total of 15 folks that we would be bringing on board that this fee increase allowed us to do. 10 of those folks would be focusing in on plans and reviews and also in the inspection world. So we would have 2 folks that would move into plan review so that we can get those better expedited and move forward. And then 8 of them would move into the inspection world. When I actually came on board over 3.5 years ago, we only had 4. We had to use contractors through the capital spending dollars in order to get more on to stay up with the amount of development that was happening. And so we are looking to actually move that from the capital spending plan into the operating budget. And the fee increase is going to allow us to do it. You know, this is actually a cost recovery, but the mayor said, recognizing there's been ask in the community for improvement, said, spend the money, let's get the people on so you can improve this area. So we're super excited about that. Then there's 5 additional that will come on that will actually go into the operation world. Those are for for banners. We get a lot of requests for banners and we cannot get them all up because we just do not have the staffing level to do it. And this is going to allow us to add additional people and hit all of those numbers that we're being asked to for banners. And then when they're not busy and they're downtown, they'll be downtime, excuse me, they will be snow plowing, maintenance in the yard. They'll be helping with traffic calming, markings on the street. So wherever we have a need, that's where they're going to be filling in the gap. But this is going to allow us to stay up with the requests that we've been having in the banners. And we've been turning down the request for banners over the past 3 years because we just have not had the staff and the ability to put them up.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Director. So I guess I'm against the deferral because from what I'm hearing, these are things that we need and have needed and can achieve now. We can start moving forward on these now, and we have continued to be a city that says, oh, let's wait, let's do a little bit more, let's analyze, and we get into this analysis paralysis. And I think it's time for us to be able to staff up the department, achieve the things that the public is asking us to achieve. And I don't know what a deferral is going to do. I recognize Councilmember Allen had a couple of things there, but I think one thing could be brought as an amendment and sussed out as an amendment. It would obviously be late. Well, is this amendable on 3rd? No. So I think that anyway, I think that there may have more questions, but I think those questions are really about reporting more so than massaging the legislation. I think the legislation is great as it is, and so I'm against a deferral. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, council members. Anybody else? Councilmember Hill?
Yeah, I just want to iterate on the deferral that I think we're all very close. I think we all got a couple little small questions, a couple things we're trying to tweak up. I'm trying to thread this needle and make sure that everyone's equitable needs are met. And I think we're really, really close. And I really think a 1 meeting deferral would solve that.
Thank you. I have a question for NDOT real quick. If it's, I understand that we guesstimated how much money this would bring in. Can you let me know what start date we anticipated collecting these revenues in the current fiscal year budget?
You mean originally when it was first introduced? I believe.
Well, in this year's budget.
I believe it was anticipated for very early in the fiscal year. I think it could have been July 1 or perhaps August or September 1. So we're behind on that. I can't remember exactly what the original legislation says. I know what this one says.
Well, I don't think that's exactly correct because it hadn't passed in June when we passed the budget. So I don't think we would have assumed that we were taking fees in July. I think the director may have more to add.
Yes. So this new legislation, when it is passed, is set to begin January 5th. We had originally said January 1st. But as you know, it's a holiday, and January 2nd actually falls on a Friday. So we just moved it to that Monday that it would go into effect. The original legislation was set to begin on July the 1st with the budget year. We have not hired anyone. We have not brought anybody on because the fee increase did not move forward. So once it does, then we'll actually start moving into getting folks hired to meet that and go from there.
Okay. Councilmember Horton hasn't spoken yet, and he's got his hand up, so I'm going to go to him.
Thank you, Chair. second Councilmember Hill's sentiments on a one meeting deferral. I'd particularly like clarity on the fee schedule for outdoor dining. Would like to have that number specifically defined in front of us before we vote on it. So we'll be supporting the one meeting deferral and grateful for Councilmember Hill for motioning it.
Councilmember Benedict, did you want me to come back to you?
Thank you. Yeah, I guess what I'd like to know is, and I appreciate that, what are the one or two specific things that are going to be improved upon? I'd like to understand what those things are that are being worked on, because if there are things like that that are coming that are important for us to know, I'd love to know what those are in advance in order for me to be able to support a deferral as compared to be against it.
Okay, great. I mean, I think for me, what Councilmember Allen brought up is important. We're charging by the square foot for outdoor dining. I think outdoor dining is great for community, and we need to make sure that we encourage it, not discourage it. I also have questions that I'm going to raise in budget later that are related to how we are accounting for these fees and how we got to our estimated numbers. And I think we need clarity on that before we move forward and say this is the right thing to do right now. But if anybody else has anything to add that hasn't been said. Councilmember Weiner. I don't ever get to say that.
I know, right? So thank you. I appreciate being called on, even though I'm not a member of the committee. I would just like, and I'm not voting, but I do support the deferral because I see that there are a lot of questions, and I too have been reaching out to NDOT to get questions answered. One of my questions may be something that can be answered in here, and if not, then as part of the deferral, I would love to get information from legal insofar as the rules that the state direct us in terms of these fees. And what are they for? Are they to supplement? Are they to, what's the word I'm looking for? Avert the taxes that we're paying? Are they an additional revenue source? Are we limited still to the revenues that we can derive from the service fees? And so I think I would like to know how the state law specifies that.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I think NDOT and council heard that, so I'm sure somebody will get back with you on that.
Thanks.
Yep. Does anybody else have anything to add? Okay, all in favor of a one meeting deferral? If y'all could raise your hand, that would be great. For the one meeting deferral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, all opposed to a one meeting deferral? Anybody opposed to a one meeting deferral? Councilmember Benedict, are you voting? You're not voting? Okay, so that's, all right, anybody not voting? Got one. I'm missing somebody. Councilmember Parker is here. Oh, Councilmember Ellis left. Okay. But Councilmember Parker, you're here. Would you like to vote? Okay, all right. I got 2 not voting. So that's 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting for a one meeting deferral on BL 2025-1063. All right. With that, this meeting, I guess, Councilmember Allen, are you getting what you need on stormwater before we close the meeting?
On solid waste?
Solid waste. Why do I say that every time?
SW, it's easy to get them confused. Yes, we have officially put together the solid waste committee, and we are working on the time that we will meet. And I had talked Matt Purvis into reporting out the second Monday of the month, and he may be ready this month, or he may want to wait till next month. I think he's saying.
Yeah, I can, this is changing hats, council liaison for the waste department. So I think I can give you a very general update as to what we're doing as far as trying to negotiate contracts and trying to, I think next month might be better. And I can have something more formal and good for
Excellent.
you.
So I know you're going to, in next month, you will be talking about route optimization and recycling.
Yes, we have
pickup contracts.
We have a lot of work to do as far as our routes and kind of repairing the sins of the past, certainly.
Gotcha. And we appreciate it. Okay, well, so plan on a full 5-minute report.
Yeah.
At the second meeting of the month in general.
Okay, great. So just so everybody heard that, second meeting of the month, we're going to have updates on solid waste because we got a lot to figure out there. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. All right, nothing further. We are adjourned.